Good evening. Let's see. Armstrong School District Board of Directors Open Caucus session of February 9th, 2017 is about to begin. If you would stand with us for a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Burdell, Mr. Chauncey.
Here.
Mr. Close.
Here.
Ms. Lote. Here. Dr. Lobby. Mr. Mulroy.
Here.
Mr. Rarick. Mr. Scaife.
Here.
Ms. Walker.
Here.
The Board of School Directors of Armstrong School District convened an executive session on Thursday, February 9th at 7:00 p.m. in the Faculty Lounge of West Hills Intermediate School in Katanning for discussion of real estate, contractual issues, and personnel.
Okay, due to the weather, I would presume the student representative were excused this evening. Then move on to central office administration reports.
We have a number of updates here for this evening. We'll start with the ESCO project and the athletic complex, and then the update on the budget.
Yeah, first the ESCO project, which recall we hired Reynolds Construction Group to do that project for us. We're identifying Shannock Valley Elementary, some renovations and some energy savings type upgrades for the summer. Project's out to bid right now. The bids are due back next week. We will be reviewing them February 21st and then bringing them to the board, which we're planning on having a special board meeting night of February 23rd, which is a Thursday at 6 p.m. to approve those bids. Right now, from the last projection, we're somewhere around $10.5 million, but look forward to see those bids come back and see what the actual price is. The next one was the athletic complex. Again, we hired ICAM Architects out of Pittsburgh last month. They were successful with the art. From what they presented to us through the RFP, they were the successful architect we picked. We developed a committee made of community members, coaches, faculty, students from Canning, Ford City, also Armstrong Junior Senior High School. We had our first planning meeting this past Monday. Went really well. There's, I believe, 22 people in attendance. Lasts about 6 hours that day. Our next one's scheduled for the upcoming Monday, and then there'll be one last one at the end of February. All the ideas that are gathered from this committee, the architects will take them. They know what our budget is, which is approximately $6 million. We feel that we can spend on that project, and they will be developing, scope of work based on what that committee is recommending and looking for, and based on the budget. And then in March, the final recommendation will be presented at a community-wide meeting, which will be held at the Armstrong Senior High School. The date's not set yet, but in March, we will present that prior to going out for bid. And lastly, the governor presented his budget proposal. I believe it was Tuesday. I attended a meeting today in Pittsburgh, which dissected the educational portion of it, recommending $100 million in basic ed funding, which when that money goes into the new formula, which is this is the first year the formula is going into play, that would generate around $314,000 new dollars for Armstrong School District. Additional $25 million special ed funding would generate about $117,000 new dollars to the school district. One decrease he's recommending is in transportation, about $50 million. They're not sure how that is going to affect schools yet, whether they're going to adjust the formula that reimburses school district transportation. So what the group did today, they presented it, that's about an 8.6% decrease in funding. So they just took 8.6% off of every school district. I don't think that's how the formula is going to shake out, but that would be about a $440,000 reduction to us, which just wipes out all the new money that we just got. I know PSBA is going to be fighting very hard at the state level to not have that line item in the budget, that reduction, because that would hurt a lot of school districts, especially school districts like ours that are rural, spends a lot of money on transportation. That would be a big hit to us. Accountability block grant is going to be funded level funding, which is good. We received around $1.1 million in that. And other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of major differences in the or shakeups in the budget. And we feel that for once it might be on time this year because there's not a whole lot of new things. And he's not asking for a lot of new money or any new taxes. And one other thing that we can mention that might affect us, there's a talk of Senate Bill 76, which is property tax elimination. Had a lot of momentum about a month ago. We've been in contact with our senator's office, and some of the things that were presented, we felt that would impact the school different ways, positive and negatively. We shared our ideas with them, and at this point, it's kind of slowed down. It hasn't been presented yet, but that's out there too. That there's a bill out there possibly for property tax elimination, which would not eliminate property taxes altogether. There's some caveats in there where you'd still be able to, keep the millage attributed to your debt and so on and so forth. But depending on that, if that passes here sooner and goes into play, will have an effect on how we look at our budget also.
Any questions for Sam? No, just one other item. We got a formal letter of request from Katanning Borough Council regarding their interest in both Katanning properties, the junior high and the high school. My recommendation at this point is to begin to open up dialogue with Katanning Borough Council and invite them to a meeting and have some discussions as to what their intentions are. Naturally, there's some legalities anytime the property changes hands. I believe the junior high, their interest in the junior high is reflective upon that building getting demolished and being a pad-ready site. Their interest in the Katanning building is currently how it sits, with the exception of the football field. So I think we put out a formal invite to the next available board meeting that they can come to, and so we can have some discussion with the leadership of Katanning Borough.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, there was a lot there, a lot of changes, especially with that property tax elimination. I think a lot of people anticipate some big relief in that as taxpayers. I think when you kind of drill into the whole bill in itself and how the restructure will be, a lot of people are not real clear on the whole plan in depth and how it affects what they pay out. So, be interesting to see how it all works out. There's been a lot of talk about it for a long time, but we'll see how it works out. I think that's all. We go on other reports. Public comments on agenda items this evening.
Doug Smith, James Drive, Ford City. Just to follow up, was there any interest in the Ford City building by Ford City Borough or anybody else? That's question one. And Mr. Kirk, I'm sure you know my next question. How are we going to finance our $17 million? That's it. Thank you.
First one's no.
All right.
I think that one.
There's been a lot of rumors regarding interest in Ford City High School. We've not, since I've been here, we've not gotten a formal request from anybody.
Want to address the other issue? Yeah, as for the financing, there's approximately $16 to $17 million in projects. We have approximately $6 million in cash. We have approximately $6 million in cash that we've got from remaining construction funds from the Armstrong Junior Senior High School. The PlanCom money that we received from past years, we're going to recommend that we move that to the construction fund, which is about 3.5, 3.7, I can't remember the exact number. And then we'll be looking to do a bond issue for the remaining. If we commit to the project, the bids in February, we'll need to borrow money this year in paying for it. First pay would not be until next year's budget though. And the impact right now from what I'm seeing, depending on what we need to borrow, will be anywhere from $400,000 to about $560,000 new dollars to the budget.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comments? Okay, presentation of the regular monthly agenda. We'll start off with reports. Any other reports? PSBA, Aaron, let it be.
The Aaron meeting was January 17th. Because it was Board Appreciation Month, they had parents come in and talk more about like the effects of the program that we fund. And the one that they really were excited about was the early intervention, especially for the autistic children. They have several parents there who were just glowing reports about the programs that are being offered at Penn's Manor and I think Salzburg, I think it is. So, you know, they had done that, and they also did a presentation on their like home parent visitation program and how they try to encourage the parents. Especially they give them books and different things to work with their children at home with that. So that was good. And they are anticipating, Sam, that they may not have we may have another year of no increase for our fees to them this year. So they're, I mean, you know, it's not that big, but it's something. So we have that. And then at Lenape, it was pretty much business as usual. They had 15 first place at the district level for their Skills USA competitions. And so the state conference will be in Hershey, I think in April. The Culinary Arts program is in the top 20 of the Elite 50 hospitality programs of distinction. It was the only secondary school in Pennsylvania to receive that award for 2017. And they released their 17-18 proposed calendar with the start date of August 17th. And they are using Manorville, the police as resource officers with Manor Township.
I would ask them, Linda, there is an increase in transportation. They did a miscalculation from one year to the next.
Oh, yeah, okay.
About a couple $100,000, so, and they say there's no increase in fees.
Well, they were talking about like whatever we pay per year, there's no increase.
We
for
don't
that.
utilize a lot of their services, but that transportation cost got up and they miscalculated.
Okay, I think they did mention like that, but overall, they're anticipating that the fee that we pay, the million, whatever it is that we pay, there's no increase in that.
Okay. All right, thanks, Linda. Any additional reports?
Not at this time.
I believe it's yours. The minutes from the open caucus session, January 5th, 2017, January 9th, of the regular meeting. Consensus to place those on for Mondays.
Yes.
And the food service fund for January, athletic fund for December, and the presentation of the bills for payment for January. Any questions from board members or anything to highlight from business? Sam, on any of those? Nothing?
Nothing to highlight, no.
Questions from board members on any of those three categories? Consensus to place those on for Monday?
Yes.
Personnel items addressed in executive session. Business 1 through 4.
Yeah, business 1, 2, and 4, pretty standard things. Business 1 is just creation of new student activity fund. 2 is annually we ask for authorization to advertise, to bid out for supplies and uniforms, those sort of things. 4, Ford City is requesting the usage of that parking lot for flea markets. And then business 3, our audit. I provided a summary to you guys as part of this resolution to accept that, but just briefly, we had a clean audit for the year ending June 30th, 2016. Some of the financial highlights. We, under budget revenue, expenses by about $1.2 million. We were over budget. We collected more revenue than we had budgeted by about $2.4 million. And I know that's a lot. One item that was a lot was about $1.8 million in delinquent real estate taxes. Recall, it's been a hard number to pinpoint because years ago we sold all those. We were collecting them just an annual amount. You got a big chunk of money up front. We got rid of that program. So now as those delinquents get back on the books, we're not getting them annually. They build up. So it's hard to project what that is. So it's good. We got a lot extra in, but we were about $2.3 million to the good in revenue. So overall, our fund balance getting increased by $872,000 at the end of June 30th, 2016. So that brings us up to $7,660,000, which we have committed towards future PSER cost, $1,550,000. We have signed $1 million for this current year budget, and we have unassigned of $5.1 million. Capital Projects Fund, I would say 99% of all bills have been paid out for the Armstrong Junior Senior High School. At the end of the year, we had about $2.4 million left. What's left in that construction fund, we're going to be using for future projects, whether it's the athletic complex or Shannock Valley. Also, food service. They had a small operating loss after you take out of the non-cash items like depreciation and post-employment, future post-employment benefit expenses. Really small loss, but Ms. Fee does a great job there, and she has her own fund balance that is able to offset that loss that they had. And then at the end of the year, the district had debt, which I'm not proud of this one, but we've been able to do a lot of projects of $115 million, which we saw a decrease about $2.4 million from the previous year. I forgot to bring the audits. I meant to bring those, but I'll bring them Monday for you. You know, there's a copy of it. Usually I provide to you, so I'll have that for you Monday.
Any questions on any of that?
I mean, I've been reading these audits here at the school district for a long time. This is definitely one of the cleanest ones. Usually they'll find some sort of recommendation as to how you do your policy or processes, or some kind of a discrepancy maybe with transportation. It's usually minor. It's nothing. I mean, it seems very clean. So I think you guys really tightened up the processes and procedures in a really good way. It's reflected here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have a good staff.
That's good. Consensus to place those 4 business items on for Monday. One construction item, Plan Cone Parquet approval.
Yeah, that's just for information. When we get those back from PDE, we place those on the agenda. Part K is when you do a refunding. We did recent refunding of the 2007 bond issue. This is filed with the state, and this is just the documentation coming back from them.
Consensus to place that item on. Student transportation services, an updated list of bus drivers. Consensus to place that on also. 3 policy items under policy. Anything from our solicitor on policy items?
Just to note, the first 2 policies are changes pursuant to the Every Student Succeeds Act, which is the successor to No Child Left Behind. The revisions to policy 3 relate to the conflict of interest disclosure form, and I believe that Lee has communicated with the administration the changes that are being made.
All right, any questions from board members on those policy items? Consensus to place those on for Monday? Yes. General, 2 items under general, a donation agreement. Got the highlights of those treadmills.
2 treadmills from, I believe it's the power plant, right, to West Shamokin High School.
I think they've
done similar things
some
in the past,
donations in the past, yes. So that's good. And the adoption of the 2017-18 school calendar.
Yeah, the start date of August 23rd, end date of May 30th, 5 snow days built into the calendar, similar to what's going on this year.
Questions on either of those items? Consensus to place those general items on for Monday? Yeah, anything under other informational forward?
Yeah, there's a request in there for shelving at Ford City High School. The person's willing to provide a donation to the district. We've done that. The things that made it through the auction, that people have seen it and make a donation to the district, we've let them take those things out and letter in for that. And then Later Times has a letter of request. Maybe you can explain this program about the business coloring books that you're doing, or they know anything about it.
That's more advertising. That's not in my department.
But they're doing a business coloring book, asking us if we have interest to put our high school, Armstrong and West Shamokin. The cost is $250 per building. Done similar things with Later Times in the past to market our buildings. it'd be a good opportunity for us to do that again.
Do we have to have any kind of a resolution for that, or to make approval of the money, or does that have to be formally done? Is it just something we can do at
Expenditure
their
money.
It'd just be expenditure, I mean,
expense?
yeah.
Nothing?
we have advertising in our budget, I think we're just trying to make you aware of that. It's out there.
Okay, anything from board members under other? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Lote, and, so I have a second. Mr. Morrow. All in favor? Opposed? How come we're adjourned? Sorry.